Welcome to She's Got Guts, where functional nutrition meets ancient wisdom to bring you grounded insights and practical tools for your wellness journey. Join Laura, licensed Eastern medicine practitioner and wellness wizard, and Molly, registered dietitian and gut health expert, as they unpack trends, tackle bloating, balance hormones, and help you thrive in modern womanhood without completely frickin' losing your mind. Let's do this.
The fogginess in your brain. Why is it there? What are all the ways to make it go away? How do we clear the fog? I think this is one of those things that's legitimately like a really multi-pronged approach. You know how most things
Yeah,
are, but this
right.
one really is. Like when it comes to your brain, you got to check all the boxes.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
I'm excited to hear about what you would do in terms of the gut to really kind of talk about how the brain works. I'm excited about that.
Me too.
I kind of wanted to just start by maybe talking about what are kind of the things we think about? Like, what are the categories of things we want to think about? You're like, I have brain fog. And then you're like, okay, what's next? I
Hmm.
think if your age is there, you certainly if your age is, between 35 and 65, and you're female, you definitely want to think about your hormones. Also male, testosterone that is plummeting for a variety of reasons, not just age, can also bring on brain fog for men, but definitely
Hmm.
having not enough estrogen can be the picture. I was also at the chiropractor this morning and thinking about if your cervical spine is out of whack or if your neck and shoulders are super super tight, it's probably not going to be very easy to get an adequate amount of blood flow up into the brain.
Right.
So structurally, I think that's really important.
Hmm.
The other thing I was thinking about is like genetic predispositions, right? Like you just literally have a disorder where your brain just doesn't quite work best, and you got to hit all the other areas to make sure that it's functioning as best as it can. The other thing I was thinking
Yep.
about is long COVID, like just
Okay.
that chronic or continuing long COVID. I think
Hmm.
it was quote unquote so long ago, even though it seems like yesterday. But I think a lot of people are still dealing with kind of unexplained fatigue and brain fog that may have been from the illness itself or how their body responded to the new type of vaccine or just the stress or the mental illness around that time. Most likely a combination of all of them. And then the last thing I was thinking of is what if something was, oh no, I have two things more. One is what if something was undiagnosed? Like, what if you went your whole life masking as a really great ADD, person that shows up in the world really well. And all of a sudden you're like, wow, I actually have been creating an enormous amount of fatigue in my brain that's showing up as brain fog because I don't know how to manage the way that my brain uniquely works.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a big one. Then the last one I was thinking about is like actual cellular health, right? Like, are you getting enough oxygenation? What's happening with your
Hmm.
cells? Are they dying? Are you turning them over? Are you tending to your cellular health? I don't know. Those are all the things that came up for me. What do you think, lady?
For me, I know personally that vision has a lot to do with it, and that's something that I learned
Mm,
newly here. But
totally.
yeah, I think that I've had double vision my entire life because I have like remote memories of not necessarily being able to see very well or like being dilated and not being able to see after that. And
Yeah.
I taught myself to like force myself to see because I'm the kind of person that would just rather do that. And unfortunately, when you are in your 40s, you can't hide from things like that anymore because your muscles are more tired. And so, what I
Yeah.
learned from my neuro ophthalmologist is that when you are focusing so hard on keeping your eyes straight or being able to, like, let's say you don't have glasses and you need them, seeing what's
Yeah.
in front of you and you're moving your head around and you're, zooming in and out, it's so fatiguing to your brain. Like, I literally wondered if I had like something like a brain tumor because it's
Yeah.
by the end of, a couple hours, you're so exhausted from trying to process everything. And what I'm learning in
Mhm.
vision therapy also is that when you're really stressed or there's a lot going on, your peripheral vision actually shuts off. And you just
Mm.
focus on what's in front of you. Your brain says, forget about all that because we need to
Oh.
go forward. I'm actually having to learn how to see out of my
Oh.
periphery because I know my husband was like, that must be nice to not have peripheral vision. I was like, Okay. Well, it
Yeah,
must be
maybe a
nice to
double-edged
have it.
sword. You're like, if I'm
Like,
getting
just
attacked
because
by
you
something
can
coming up out of the side of me and I can't see it, that's not good.
we all know you pay attention to everything, okay, buddy? Good for you.
Yeah.
But the it's a fascinating concept in that even something that you would never think about, like
Yeah.
looking out of the sides of your eyes, can be
Yeah.
so because we're processing like millions of frames all the time. Like, I
Mhm.
hear a noise in the background, the HVAC is turning on, the sun just came through the clouds, like I'm talking to you, is my microphone in the right place? All of these things are happening. And if something goes wrong in the chain, so you mentioned brain, adrenals, sleep itself, your gut, your nerves, anything goes wrong,
Blood
then
circulation, oxygen, whatever. Yeah. Hormones.
your body automatically stops doing things. That's like when you're really stressed out, even if you are getting all your nutrients, you can still lose hair because that's not an important thing to your body.
Yeah.
So there are certain things
Yes.
that your body will just stop doing
Ah, right.
involuntarily.
Mhm.
And that I think brain fog is like a big indicator of that.
Yes. Yeah, I call that the distribution of energy when I talk about that in the clinic where they're like, "Why
Mm.
isn't why aren't my fingernails growing and why do I have this one toe?" And I'm like, "Well, you're actually moving through some like coronary artery disease treatment right now, and I'm pretty sure that your body's like prioritizing keeping your heart rate going. It's not
Number
really
one.
prioritizing your like maybe toe joint that's not doing so well. I'm sorry, that's annoying, but let's keep you alive. That
'Cause I
distribution of
think your
energy is
heart is
such a
more
big deal."
important than your brain to your body, right? I don't
Well,
know.
I think
I
they both
maybe they're
have their own
equal.
roles. Like, you're not gonna have any blood circulation, movement, or life, but you can be in your body with a heart without a brain. It just wouldn't
Right.
really be that fun.
But you can't be in your body with a brain and not a heart.
Correct,
So,
correct. Or maybe for a while, as your heart
that was
fades away. There's all sorts of
you're
weird
just
things
like,
people talk about that
yeah.
happens, that's a whole nother podcast, but
I'm like, "Oh, yeah, the heart, yeah, that may be number 1." Okay. All of that being said, do you wanna start with one of the things that you mentioned? Because I do think neurodivergence is huge. So, I'm mostly gonna
Mhm.
talk about the gut, the neurodivergent piece
Yeah.
as the
Well,
spectrumoid of our partnership.
yeah. Well, what I think was important was to just, go to your provider that you feel like is going to help you throughout some of these things that maybe we mentioned, right? Like if you feel like your neck is
Yes.
always out, get a massage, go to a chiropractor,
Mhm.
whatever. Maybe start talking to a therapist if you believe you need to change your behaviors based on the way that your brain is. Obviously, there's nutrients that we can get to, which I'll leave in your court. But the thing I was hoping to really focus on today was actually this bizarre phenomenon of attention and lack the inability to have focus, like so much attention and not enough focus. And I think we in the world that we live in right now, which is we're in America where capitalism is the biggest piece and people are going to be trying to sell us something, have us be a part of something, communicate with something, connection. These are all great things if they fit for you. However, I'm listening to this book recently on direct to consumer marketing. And what I find so interesting is I do have a little bit of like this moral thing that comes up. I'm trying to market Supercube, I'm trying to get more people to know about it. But there's this part of it that is so rooted in grabbing attention. And
Mhm.
it's so hard for me because I'm like, wait a second, I don't want to make the situation that that people are in with feeling so stressed out and having so much coming at them and having this decision fatigue and there's lots of stress in the world. There's just blah 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 blah, everything's coming at you. It's like that gif of the person with the hot dogs flying at her face. It's like everything's just like coming at you and you just have to do your best to respond. But I think when we have all this stuff coming at us, our brain is so busy all the time that it does what you just said. Just like if your eyes can't, you
Mhm.
just get fatigued. Your body's like,
Right.
and I've had enough of it. I'm not going to I don't want to feed that very thing that I created Supercube for, which is navigating
Uh,
those moments when all of
mhm.
those things are present. And I'm actually
Mhm.
really having a tough time with it because I'm like, yes, I
Mhm.
want to grab your attention on Instagram. And yes, I want you to know about this. And yes, I want to show up in your email box, but I want you to tell me what works for you so I'm not stressing you out. I don't wanna
Yeah.
stress you out. I wanna give you
Mhm.
information. I want you to know I'm here for you, and I want you to have options. So I don't know, sorry, I went off on a little tangent there with that, but I really do think attention fatigue, distraction fatigue, decision fatigue is where a lot of what we experience in our brain as brain fog is just flat out overwhelm, and your brain's like, "And I'm done. I don't know how to be in a fully technological based world and a world where we didn't have any." Like our generation is in this weird tweener land, right? We're trying to like hold on to the like running in the outside, not having any, feral children to our children sitting on a screen or us sitting on a screen. We're
Mhm.
in this weird place where I think our brain is like, I don't fucking know what to do. So I'm just going to turn
Right.
off. I'm
Yeah.
only going to do the basics. I'm only going to do what I need to do. I'm just going to survive. We wonder why people feel like survival is trending. It's so
Mhm.
much attention. Sorry, I just kind of went off there. Please jump in.
No, that's fine. I mean, I think one of the major pieces in terms of the attention that you're talking about, the attention of the screen and the
Mhm.
advertisements and we could call them organic advertisements as well. So whether it's
Mhm.
you look at a pair of shoes and then it follows you all over the internet, the same
Oh
pair
my
of
god.
shoes,
Yeah, I'm
or
like learning how to do this and I'm like, do I really
yeah.
actually want to do that? I don't know if I want to.
Well, but I mean, at the same time, like we can talk about that offline, but I think that there's something to be said for I mean, for me, I sell things I sell a service and
Yeah.
I feel that with the service that I provide to women, I make their life better and no
Mhm.
one else is doing what I'm doing specifically with the background that I have
Right.
and the experience that I have. So I have no problem with explaining that to people and educating them
Mhm.
and informing them and giving them permission also to take care of themselves and invest in something like that at multiple price points. It's not always like I think people always think that these things are more expensive than they are. But
Yeah.
also the thing about Supercube as a consumer, what I can tell you is that you have, and I think all of us listening to this podcast can agree, you have a lot of knowledge and you have a lot to offer. And Supercube, I think, is a reflection of all of your wisdom and the way that you approach the world and the way that you help others approach the world. So if I were
Right.
you, I would think of it more like, how can I educate people
Mhm.
and give them, like what even is mushroom coffee? Here are the things that we have seen, and then here's what it actually is, and here's why this product does something, and then here's what it does. And I think that
Right.
that's really important because, like, if I didn't know about it, I don't think that I would have had as easy of a time with my whole nervous system journey. Like, I know that it
Right.
has helped me significantly. So,
Mhm.
and like you and all the things that you know have helped me consistently. So just keeping that in mind. But
Oh, same
there's a
to
lot
you,
of
honey.
speaking of having a hard time with marketing, I'm having a hard time with wellness grifters and I hate them all. And I really like
I
the
know it's
trend,
the
like,
worst.
why are dietitians trying to be influencers? Because influencers are trying to be dietitians. And what I do like about that is that people are
Thank you for
starting to
saying that.
notice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people are starting to notice. And I think that there's a difference between a health coach and then someone like you, right? So,
Mhm.
no, you're not like a
Me
nutrition
and you.
professional per se, but you
Mhm.
are more than qualified versus like someone who literally knew nothing. And then I'm watching Apple Cider Vinegar on Netflix. Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah. So good.
Oh my
So
God.
good. I
It's
watched
so
it probably a
good.
year ago, I wanna say, but yeah,
Okay.
it's real good. Real
So
good.
this woman never had brain cancer and she pretends that she did and that she cured herself essentially. And
It's
that happens
horrific.
all the time. Like
Yeah.
whether it's brain cancer or Crohn's disease
Mm.
or like
My period, my
inflammation,
nervous system, whatever.
diabetes, right, right, right,
Yeah.
right. Could be anything. It doesn't even have to be a disease, right? It could be my nervous
Yeah.
system. Could be, oh, I used to weigh this much. Or like I've seen like on TikTok how people who sell the probiotics that are really hot on TikTok, there's like this doctors, whatever. They suck. Don't buy them off TikTok. But
Don't do
a lot
it.
of bacteria die in transit from China. The woman will like puff out,
Valid.
like at the end of the day, naturally your body has more water in it and your stomach is going to look different than it
Yeah.
does in the
It's
morning,
called
even if
lifing
you,
and gravity.
yeah.
Mhm.
So they'll take pictures of themselves in the morning and then they'll take pictures of themselves at night and you'll be sucking in or not sucking in. And if you're just like real quick, then it looks like a dramatic difference. So I am a little disenchanted with going online and saying, like, here's how I
Mm.
help you, because I'm so sick of seeing bullshit like that, leading to
Yes.
brain fog, in that gives me an emotional and spiritual fatigue as someone who isn't in the wellness industry but is in
Mhm.
the nutrition science industry, and therefore there's a big confusion there. So
Mhm.
when we have a dopamine overload, which is flashing
Mhm.
lights and watching things really quickly and little snippets of other people's lives, and, oh, I have a
Mhm.
judgment about this outfit or this lifestyle or this comment, then we burn out. Like, we don't have that many
No, our brains were not built for
chemicals
that.
to use up
Mm-mm.
that quickly.
No.
So
No.
once you burn through that, which is for many people like before they've even had a cup of coffee, then
Mhm.
you're left for the rest of the day like trying to kind of catch up, and you're in this depleted state. So
Yep.
whether you're in perimenopause or not, we still have to think
Mhm.
about where our attention goes. And this to me has been really interesting because I will not on my TikTok look at things that are too far right or too far left, because I really am in the middle and there are things that I like on either side. And I think
Mhm.
that it is so interesting because I will have to see something and know intentionally, like rationally, like if I watch this, then I'm going to get a billion other things,
Yeah.
and it's going to take a lot of recovery to then not hear about Savannah Guthrie's poor mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have to
Yep.
make that decision within like a second. And so when you
Yes.
think about intention, about where your attention goes, then
Mhm.
we can start applying that concept to our entire life, right? Not just
Yeah.
the internet, but where do you want to focus your attention and
Mhm.
what is valuable to you?
Yeah. Yes, and I'm so glad you said that because I wanna mention some things that this is actually on my fridge. I have this printed on my fridge because I have 2 boys that are growing up with cell phones, and I'm trying to help them understand how their unique brain works and how certain things will make their brain work different ways. And actually, this is interesting. When they went to a Montessori school when they were very little, prior to kindergarten, they spent each of them spent like 2 or 3 years at this little school. It's Miss B's. It was right down the street. It was so cute and lovely. And,
Mm.
they didn't have plastic toys. They spent a ton of time outside. They had like the best rain gear of all. They were just, very in tune with the natural rhythms of how humans move through the world. And one of the things that was like a non-negotiable for her was, if you're a family that puts your kid in front of the TV while they're having breakfast while you get ready, you cannot have that kid. That kid can't come here, or you're going to have to change your schedule, because the way that their excitability in their brain works when you start with screens,
Mhm.
you can tell in that child's behavior when they come to school that they are looking for that same level of excitement. And when you're that
Mhm.
little, it might mean you go and you start roughhousing with your friend, or you throw a toy, or it's not the type of behavior that's technically accepted with other
Mhm.
kids around. And it doesn't help keep the flow, like that normal flow. You're actually looking for something that has been artificially stimulated. And
Yes.
so I wanna read this list here. So I have a list of quick dopamine, which is like short-term fun.
Ooh.
Woo!
Mhm.
These, we're all gonna love all of
Is it
these.
fun though?
And then there's I know. Well, the end, no. And then slow dopamine, like long-term joy. So quick
Mhm.
dopamine, we have da 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 sugar.
Mm.
Everybody know. I don't know if people really know why that happens, but sugar is so dopamine stimulating. I mean, sugar will
Mhm.
have you going without you even recognizing what you're doing, walking into the kitchen, opening up the snack cabinet and standing there and not even realizing that you did that without making the choice to
Mhm.
do it. Sugar will make you go and do that.
Mhm.
Alcohol,
Mm.
nicotine,
Mhm.
scrolling, dating apps, shopping, and gaming.
Mhm.
I'm sure there's more, but these are kind of the big ones, right? We
Mhm.
default to. Slow dopamine, we have protein. We love protein. One of Molly's favorite things to do, cooking. She's
Mhm.
fabulous at it. One day I'm gonna just hang out in the kitchen with you and have so much
Yeah,
slow dopamine.
soon.
Running, which you have
Mhm.
introduced more of lately. I love
Yes.
that. I was an avid runner for years and I am not anymore. Lifting
Never too late.
weights.
Mhm.
Oh, no, I don't want to. I don't like it. It's not fun on my knees. I would rather just do it. No. Lifting weights, yes.
Mhm.
Pursuing goals. I like that one
Ooh,
because it's
hate
broad.
it.
It's hard. It's a hard one. It requires that
Yeah,
serotonin too.
right.
Focused work and reading. I've noticed for me that as I get older that the reading is really, really effective. Like setting down the screen, getting comfortable. And even if I just read 5 pages, I'm like, oh, that was so nice to have
Mhm.
some time to just let my brain wander while I read, or just be so in it that I'm not really thinking about much else. There's no attention that can be grabbed there other than the words on the page. And
Mm.
it's slow and your brain's kind of used to it. Like our brain has a tolerance for reading. Our brain does not
Mhm.
have tolerance for these quick dopamine surges from that
Mhm.
quick dopamine list.
Right. I agree. I think that's wonderful. When we're looking at how much attention we have to give,
Mhm.
like reading is going to feel impossible at first. So you want to talk
Mhm.
about pursuing your goals. Well, you get a double dopamine hit by reading because if one of your goals is to be more attentive and present,
Mhm.
then and not have as much brain fog, then let's cut down on the noise and start reading. Oh my gosh, we're doing
Yeah.
two things that are going to help dopamine at once. And they
Yes.
are both
Yes.
boring at
Yep.
first.
Mhm. Right, but that's the
And
whole
that's the
point.
point. Mm-hmm.
I can't even think of how much. I was so bored in my childhood.
Well, and
So
if you're
bored.
listening to
Just
this,
like
I'm
sitting in
sure
a
you were
tree,
too.
eating an apple,
Yeah.
being bored, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I would love that for my children right now. I would love
Yeah.
it."
Well, but like, yeah, I'll find that even when it's just been a really stressful day or whatever, and I'm like needing to check out and I'm like playing a game on my phone while watching TV, I'm still
Mhm.
bored. It's
Mhm.
not any
Yeah.
more fun
Right.
to
Right.
like burn yourself up like a crisp. It just feels like
Mhm.
you're doing something. So
Yeah,
I
it's
wonder
a
if
little
like
hit.
knitting could be,
Mhm.
if knitting could be something like to try or,
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you feel like you
I
need to be productive or do something.
Yeah. I
A
also like
walk.
nature. Nature wasn't
Yep,
listed on the slow dopamine, and I
it
really think
is.
getting out in the woods is sincerely one of the best things. You smell it, you feel it, you hear it. And in Chinese medicine, the liver is associated with the wood element, and when your qi is, really stagnant and you feel all stressed and everything just isn't feeling like it's flowing, one of the number one things to do is get out, feel the moss, put your feet on the dirt, breathe, walk through the forest,
Mm,
and your clarity changes, your focus changes, the importance
right.
of things change. You get legitimately more grounded. And I think you become more flexible. Remember that story I talked about, like with when the tree is
Mhm,
nice and nourished and the storms of life come, it can sway with it and react or respond. Whereas,
mhm,
a tree that isn't so nourished, someone who's poorly stressed and poorly nourished, their little tree's going to snap when the stress comes. So
mhm.
that wood,
Right.
getting out into that wood element is so, so nourishing. And speaking of
Yeah.
nourishing, I have like three top things that I love for the brain. What do you love for the
Okay.
brain?
Well, you mean for brain fog or just
Well,
for the brain?
I'm just thinking, well, I was thinking nourishing, when I was talking about
Okay.
the tree, I was like, what is it in the
Mhm.
tree that we could like translate into actual nourishment, like in foods and things? The B vitamins are the big one that comes to my brain.
I was gonna say
Bees,
healthy
bees for
fats,
your brain.
carbohydrates. Yep.
Yep. Bees and fats are like my two favorites. Um,
Carbohydrates are the source of fuel for your brain. 150
mm,
grams a day.
yeah, dang.
Yep.
And magnesium, your brain loves magnesium.
It sure does.
I mean, a lot of things love magnesium, but your
Yeah.
brain is a good one.
Yep.
And also, just stepping out from nutrients herbal wise, I really, with Supercube, I have lion's mane in it for a reason.
Mhm.
MCT oil is that nice coconut extracted
Yep.
C8 and C10s, the type of fats that your brain just like gobbles up and functions. It's like lube for your little brain sheaths, which is so good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And then also using your brain, looking at a point in ahead of you, like maybe 5 feet ahead of you, and then
thinking about all the things that are around that point, like in your peripheral. That's like a game you can
Mm.
play with your brain. If you were sitting
Ooh.
outside and you were born, you could do bored, you could do that. I also really like meditation because
Mhm.
I recently got the Aura Ring, and on a day that I don't meditate for about 10 minutes, even if I don't, like, I will not scroll, but even if I just don't meditate or listen to my little meditation while I'm drinking my coffee, I will not have this same amount of recovery. I'll have more stress during the day. It'll take me longer to be not
Dang.
stressed during the day. And when we give ourselves the opportunity to just calm down and get some sunlight and like just shut off
Mm.
and take control of the day, then
Mhm.
it's not like you're not immediately outsourcing your power
Right.
to the lunches and the carpool and the people and the clothes and you know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like if you have to get up a little early, then you have to get up a little early, but it makes your day
Yeah.
completely different.
It really does. And I think that's so important how you've mentioned 2 things. One, like waking up and scrolling, or 2, waking up and tending to your brain in the way that you actually want it to behave. Like
Right.
how do I want to set the tone for the day? I mean,
Right.
of course I love Supercube because I think it's great for your brain and helps with all the coffee stuff, but I'll look at my phone real quick just to make sure what time it is. I have 2 kids to get up and I'm like, "Oh fuck, I got to
Right.
wake up. Let's get these
Right.
guys going." I love to look and
Mhm.
see what Supercube sales have come in. That's like my favorite. I love seeing that it brings in, but I don't really read anything else. Nothing else.
Mhm.
Not until I'm like, okay, I'm done with the drop off. I'm done with all the things. It like makes drop off so much more. Those transitions are so much more stressful if I'm looking at anything on the phone. It's just too much. And I think you do have to kind of know your tolerance. Easy to get to that stress place and be there in that low grade fight or flight all day, but having
Mhm.
a little observation and just a mental awareness. What am I trying to say? Mindfulness of where you are and how those
Put upon.
things, yeah, how they make how they make you respond, or I should say react, because if you're responding, you're very aware. But if you're just reacting and feeling stressed all day, all right, well, how'd you start out the day? Did you scroll, have
Mhm.
coffee, not pay attention to
Right.
anything? And then, did you forget to brush your teeth because you were too busy like watching that reel because it was so funny and you thought it was great and it was going to set the tone for the day? But really, now your brain's just starving for dopamine all day.
Right. Well, it's funny, even before social media, when my mom was in her mid 40s, she would say, like, the cat would do something, and she would yell my dad's name. She would yell my brother's name. And like, then she would yell the cat's name. Like, she couldn't
Yes.
remember who is
She had to go
who.
through the laundry
Right.
list of the humans in the house. Yeah.
Get your keys out of the refrigerator kind of thing. And
Yes.
what my husband has started saying to me now that I am that same age is land the plane because I'll like talk around the whole thing and like then I'll go over here and then I'll go over here, then I'll say the same thing again and he's like, "Yep, like
Yeah.
got
How
it
about how
about 5 minutes ago." So I think but like, it's like I'm almost trying to process it myself. Like,
Yeah.
what do I want to say?
Yeah.
Let's just
Yes.
keep talking
Yes.
until we feel satisfied. And so for me, that's a form of brain fog because I have no idea what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I have no idea who I'm talking to. I'm not sure the word for the thing. And I feel
Mhm.
like estrogen has helped with that a lot.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I still feel like I'm in a phase in my life where it is hard to find adjectives. I was thinking about this the other day and I was like, how many perimenopausal women does it take to find the right adjective? A lot.
Yeah.
Because they just don't exist. So hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I would say that estrogen has helped keeping my blood sugar, stable. I think that's a really big one too, because that cortisol is just so finicky at this point.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for gut. So, what can happen with gut are a couple things. First, we have bacteria, and we talked about this in the probiotic episode, but we have bacteria that are called psychobiotics, and they literally help our body to make serotonin, norepinephrine, epinephrine, dopamine. So if our gut bacteria is depleted and we can't make neurotransmitters, then and catecholamines, then we're in a position where we cannot use our brain as quickly.
Brain is
If we are
starving.
not,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like your
And
brain
if your brain
fuel
is
is made in
literally
your gut.
starving, right.
Mhm.
If you need more nutrients, like more frequent carbohydrates, if you're skipping meals and your blood sugar is crashing, then your body, like, it can't respond as quickly. It's not going to be thinking about what to say. It's like, I don't have any energy in the liver stored as glycogen to use for energy. I don't have anything to give to the brain. So now I got to turn this protein, ball that you ate off Bonnie's desk into a carbohydrate and try to give it to the brain and try to use it and slog through until you eat some shredded cheese in front of the fridge. And that can be really detrimental over time to not only your brain and then your abdomen, but your weight and your overall health and your chronic disease risk. So thinking about, and your digestion, because when you eat and make different choices when you're starving. So I think it's just really important to look at the big picture, which is how am I diversifying and enriching my gut microbiome, culturing it by eating different foods and doing all that.
Yeah.
How am I, timing out my meals so that I do have enough fuel for my brain to use? Did my doctor tell me to avoid cholesterol, so now I won't eat any fat or any eggs? Am I low in
that's
vitamin
the one
D?
That's so hard for me. Yeah,
It's
that
so
one's
annoying.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm like, I remember one of the very first people that came to see me in my practice, and he was very overweight. He had like a little heart thing going on, but it was because he had leukemia when he was very young, and they put a lot of radiation on his neck and chest and everything. And I just don't think his organs fully matured the way that maybe they were. So everything was just really sensitive for him, a little bit heartburn, that sort of thing. And one of the first thing I said is he was just so tired, but he was like, he was tired, but his belly was big, and I was like, I just feel like you need to eat good fat. And he disappeared for a while. It was like the beginning of the winter, I remember, and he disappeared, and then he came back after New Year's. And he was like, well, you have a patient for life. And it's true. He was with me for the entirety of his life. Esophageal cancer got him in the end. But he was a very, became a friend and family member after so many of those years. Here's my brain fog kicking in because I was just thinking of him, and it made me feel very fond.
Oh, may
I was
he
like,
rest in
oh,
peace.
my emotions took over there, took over my
So he
logic.
left you and ate fat and then
He
came
did,
back and felt better.
Came back and he felt so much better. Yeah, he needed it. He was well, and also I did recommend the book, The Schwarzbein Principle. I don't know if you're familiar with that. He's kind of I believe that book back in the day. I think I gave that to him because he does touch on how good, kind of trying to break down that 1990s and early 2000s anti-fat movement. Schwarzbein's like, no, you need fat. So I told him to read that, and that was great. And he was always really excited about that. But anyway, I really get sad when people aren't eating any fat at all, especially because eating fat does not lead to plaque in your arteries. It just literally does not. There's so many more steps in the way.
Yeah. And we've talked about it, and we'll talk about it again. But yeah, I hope that people are understanding that. I have also had fears that, I'm having early onset dementia and what's wrong with me. And so I try to do something that when I feel well or when I feel sharp, I pay attention to what I've been doing. And for me, it's always stress management. It's always like really prioritizing sleep and being very intentional about what I'm doing with my time and not letting my brain take over. Like, I also have to say to my brain, hey, Rebecca, we're not doing that. Like, that's not going to be, whether it's the brain or the ego or the spirit or whatever, when you feel like you want to go into that ditch, like, you have to just hack your way out of it, because it can really drag you down.
Yep. You are not your
And then
thoughts.
I won't be able to remember anything because I'm like literally just replaying this like doom loop in my mind. And when you're doing that, you can't do anything about the doom anyway.
Yep.
You fucked.
Yep. Yeah. You best back up because that ain't going to work. Let's not go forward.
Right.
I really just wanted to make sure we were focusing on attention. Attention is fatiguing. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where do you want that energy to be nourished? Do you want it to be just dissipating? Are you looking for long-term solution, joy, or are you looking for short-term fix? Pay attention on what. Yeah, that mindfulness and the attention, I think, is a really big deal. And it's honestly really hard. I mean, I haven't found myself in like a long scrolling session in a long time, but every once in a while I'll be like, whoa, I just got sucked in for like 20 minutes. What just happened there?
Hmm. Right. Well, and the
Hmm.
more that you are living your life basically through the lens of others, then going back to what we were talking about at the beginning, the more normalized it is to have a different outfit on every day and to
Oh,
have one
yeah.
in every color, or to, oh, well, I have, that dress is only whatever, 1995 and I need a new dress.
Hmm.
So, and like
Hmm.
those things pile up. Whereas
Yep.
something like Supercube,
Hmm.
or something like medical nutrition therapy
Yeah.
is actually going to, give you that slow dopamine and increase
Hmm.
your readiness and your resilience in the world.
Hmm.
So I would say, remember
Yeah,
to
they feed
invest
that
your,
mindfulness. Hmm.
of course. Yeah. And like,
Yeah.
I think that there's a big difference between like, we're not on here hawking supplements with
No.
like, you know what I mean? Like we can say magnesium, but I just feel like there's a difference between I'm looking for my 10% affiliate payout and I'm
Yeah.
looking for something to invest my time and my money into something that's actually going to make a change. And I think that, the habits
100%.
that go along with Supercube and the habits that go along with adequate nutrition are completely different. So just think
Yep.
about
Yeah.
that next time
They're
you want to
more,
buy a
yeah.
dress.
Yeah. Is that dress nourishing a ritual or is it nourishing your lack of dopamine? Which one is it?
Ooh. And go get your keys out of the refrigerator.
Thank you so much for listening. We offer personalized support to clients in many ways and would love to work with you. Reach out to Laura at Lala's Wellness and Molly at Women's Gut Health for more information. Unlock your full health and hormone potential with Supercube, Boom Bomb, and Best Tea. Check out the link in the show notes for more. See you next Saturday.